Hey everyone, let's get this started. Welcome to the Sales Performance Management presentation here for the Inside Sales Summit. Very excited to be doing this for you guys today. Thank you for choosing to attend this presentation. This is a very cool, exciting aspect of modern sales technology that a lot of people don't know about. And I'm really excited to be hopefully introducing a lot of people to it today. My name is Jeremy Boudinet. I am the Director of Marketing at Ambition. I've been with Ambition for 2.5 years. We are the G2 crowd leader for sales performance management, 5-star App Exchange partner, AISP's top service provider for 2016, and the first sales performance management platform to be endorsed actually by the Harvard Business Review. So this is a very cool and exciting topic, and I think you guys will be surprised at the utility that these platforms offer. A lot of people get confused because of the performance management aspect of sales performance management, but it's very much a non-HR software. It is a pure sales leadership tool and operations tool that's built to drive revenue, enhance culture, and help you get more out of your existing technology, your data, and your talent. So I chose the wall as the backdrop for this presentation because the idea behind sales performance management is really to kill your silos. This is all about delivering data to reps, to managers in ways that have never happened before, to create transparency between managers and reps in new ways, to help reps across different roles and teams and even different parts of your organization, from sales to marketing to account management, really understand where they fit into the broader picture, what the peers in different roles are doing, and how they're doing, actually, most importantly, as a member of your organization. So let's jump in. What is sales performance management, and how can it help my sales organization? So I guess the first question, to rephrase that second query there, is, does it drive revenue? Definitively, the answer is yes. These are results that have been proven across some of the leading sales organizations today. Clayton Homes, the bottom right organization, those results were proven by the Harvard Business Review in an independent study. Top middle, West Corporation, results proven by their internal data science team using a 3-month pilot with a sales performance management platform being run against a control. So as you can see here, the cool thing about sales performance management, it's not just driving sales activity. It's proven to drive both activity and effectiveness across your organization in different roles, in different aspects, be it even activity logging or be it your most critical metrics to driving success, such as qualified referrals. So let's get in now to the real kind of overarching keys to sales performance management and what the main mantras here are. So how does it work? Sales performance management works primarily for one reason: it unlocks your performance data. It turns it into insight. In doing so, it turns silos into transparency, and it builds bridges across your organization that previously were very hard to create and took a lot of time and way too much effort on the part of managers. So going a step back, let's look at where we all are in the sales profession today. There's a current changing of the guard. I don't have to tell you that. A new sales management paradigm is kind of taking place, and it's built around a new school, much more frequent feedback, millennial-facing, data-driven mentality. And I think that's for the better. That's not only happening in sales, that's happening across all major organizations, across all their functions. There was a recent study that found that more than 1/3 of U.S. companies are replacing annual performance reviews with frequent informal check-ins. 70% of the Fortune 500 is, in fact, estimated to be doing that company-wide. So we're going from an old school to a new school style mentality, old school sales management, tough love, throw you to the wolves, initial coaching, onboarding, and training, followed by infrequent one-on-ones. Hit quota, enjoy your check, that's it. New school sales management, on the other hand, tech-enabled, data-driven, all about saving managers time while giving them more powerful insights and control over rep performance, and at the same time giving reps a new breed of insights into their goals, their metrics, and their performance benchmarks. And not only in real time, but with really good context in terms of their own past performance against their peers and all that sort of thing. So there's a very, very great opportunity with sales performance management, and we're seeing teams do it to use these new trends to really drive motivation, recognition, and feedback across their entire organization efficiently and with a level of automation that I think you'll find surprising. And the overall result from all of this, of course, is a much more efficient and effective way to manage your sales organization, which everyone wants, right? So let's go to the next slide, which is the classic sales stack, which you are all familiar with. Circa maybe 2000 to 2012 for a lot of people, the CRM, maybe a phone dialer or phone system, and some level of business intelligence. That's changed now with the advent of the millennial sales force. And the millennial sales force is characterized by Generation Y. I'm a part of it, people who were born in the 80s and who create all kinds of headaches because we are very feedback hungry. We want instant gratification. We're impatient. We demand recognition. And we're also very hard to recruit, according to the Harvard Business Review, who found that sales talent was one of the most challenging professions to recruit in 2014 and beyond. So the other final aspect of millennial sales talent, very raw, flooding the market, desperately in need of training and hiring best practices, but a lot of teams struggle with that because everyone's time strapped and there's only so much time in the day to train and coach your fresh-faced young reps. So we have a situation where your millennial sales force needs you. I chose this picture of Joseph Gordon-Levitt from 500 Days of Summer because I think that's like the stereotypical view a lot of frustrated managers have towards their sales reps with that bewildered look on our faces. And so that has called for a sort of new shift in effective sales leadership. And the thing here is effective sales leadership, the core tenets, the pillars, if you will, haven't changed. It's aligning your processes, your platforms, and your people, getting the most out of them and having them fit together and work well within your organizational structure. None of that has changed, but what has changed are the processes, platforms, and people themselves. And they've changed in very dramatic and rapid ways, and they're going to continue to do so for the foreseeable future. And this right here, I think the latter point is what has really created the need for sales performance management, because all of this change across all these key systems in your sales organization inevitably is going to create chaos. And it's impossible to effectively manage a chaotic organization. I don't have to tell you that. So sales performance management has kind of come of age and developed as a platform to address the very real demand and pain points we're seeing from organizations that need to bring order to their organization and get rid of the chaos that is emerging from trying to get all these different puzzle pieces to fit together and work well together efficiently. So let's get to the modern sales stack and where sales performance management fits in. So what's in your sales stack is a fun question to ask these days because there's a lot probably. And looking at these platforms, these are all very popular platforms with very modern tech-oriented sales teams. And they all have one thing in common. They create and or store sales data. So data is kind of the prevailing motif here across the most important aspects of your sales stack. So from there, let's look at who's in your sales force, how they're changing. Don Draper, not so much. Mark Zuckerberg, a little bit more maybe. Very tech-enabled, young, and mercenary sales reps. And the other aspect of this, by the way, isn't just the reps themselves, but the roles they're taking on. You now have SDRs. You now have AEs. You have account-based selling. You have sales operations teams. Going back to that processes, platforms, people thing, I think even processes something that a lot of people in some ways hasn't changed, is now starting to change in very serious ways, to where there's entirely new roles and divisions being created within organizations for SDRs and all that sort of stuff. So what's been missing from the sales stack, and why is it needed so badly by both you and your reps? And what you're looking at here is leadership. It's that charismatic, irreplaceable force that sets the culture, that attracts the talent, that compels people to bring out their best. And sales technology, up until sales performance management, has never even really attempted to do that. The goal has been to create a more efficient process, or to finally get freaking data in your CRM, right? And to automate intelligence and give reps more firepower to reach out to prospects. Sales performance management is very different in that respect. It's all about the data-driven approach and the efficiency-oriented approach that all these other tools have. But instead of being external-facing, they're internal-facing. They're about you, the sales leader, efficiently in a data-driven way, creating the culture that you need to have for your company to succeed and for your team to hit its goals. So it's kind of cool. A lot of the aspects of sales performance management dovetail with just general best practice trends that are being found in major studies. There's all kinds of studies that will show you leadership, reputation, performance culture, and employee engagement are the distinguishing factors in an elite sales organization. So let's go to what the reps need and what sales performance management delivers to them. So all of the sales technology in the world that is not sales performance management is not going to give your reps self-direction, is not going to give them understanding in how they fit in the big picture, how they're progressing, how they stack up versus their peers. And it's not going to provide powerful reinforcement in terms of recognition, feedback loops, and performance accountability. And it's not going to provide the habits that they need to be successful, and that sort of daily just disciplined mentality towards their sales process. So that's at the rep level. And what managers need still from sales technology is a way to instill culture that works, create a sense of consistency and accountability, as Steve Richards so aptly put it, a performance-based mentality, and a collaborative and competitive spirit. I think those are just absolutely critical points that no technology up until now has been able to deliver. Insight, augmentation, both very important. And you can get those from existing technologies, but they're very minor features. Or if they're not very well built out. Think Salesforce reports. If I can take a shot at them. So the very key thing here is that data is the way to deliver all this, not only to managers but to reps. And there's a very interesting Wall Street Journal article from last summer that I'm going to talk about real quick that talks about data killing middle managers across most of the workforce. And the reason for that being is that middle managers tend to operate as the data consumers and then analyzers and deliverers. And technology now, not in sales necessarily, but across the board, is completely automating all of that. I read that article and it was funny because there's really only one area or one profession where managers are very safe and, in fact, empowered by this trend, and it's in sales. Sales managers were put there to do one thing best, and that's coach. And you guys never get to coach these days. And so the cool aspect here is maybe while people in other areas or other walks of life are being threatened, the sales manager is actually being empowered, perhaps more than anybody else, by a data-driven middle management augmenter and automation technology stack. So let's look at how it's working, not just from a ROI standpoint, but just in general. These are 4 articles that kind of allude to what's happening with sales performance management. All 4, Ambition, in fact, is one of the featured companies they talk about. And it's very interesting because you can kind of see here where all this synthesizes. And there's a lot of talk about productivity, about millennials, about creating advanced metrics, and about creating employee engagement. And this is these are major publications sort of discovering this since the synthesis here, and really this composite of that kind of shows the far-reaching impacts that are already occurring with sales performance management software. So taking a step back and looking at how all this fits together, think of sales performance management software as taking all that data you're getting from all your other sales technology and then turning it into a renewable energy source for your sales force, not just at the rep level, but at the manager level and the operations level. And that's a very, very pivotal thing here, because it is a multi-tiered value add for sales teams. And I know a lot of times, you're going to spend money on new technology. Sales performance management is one of the very few out there that has functionality that's customizable and really incredibly tailorable at both the management level and the rep level. So let's look at what that functionality is here. So this is a very broad overview. I didn't want to just dive into an Ambition product walkthrough with you for this. So let's take a quick look at the main overarching features that Ambition, and if you look at the main competitors of ours in the space, Hoopla, Level 11, a few others, tend to have, it's these key features. So number one is the ability to take all kinds of metrics from different data sources, and actually Ambition is the only one that can take data from any data source. I think the rest are Salesforce limited, but take those metrics and present them to reps and managers in extremely compelling ways, and use that to fuel your sales efforts. So bottom left, you have a rep dashboard example, and what you're seeing there is sales metrics that are in your CRM, and they're being automatically created every day, but being presented in a much more compelling fashion. And how that works is there's a benchmark tied to them. And so a key aspect of a lot of Salesforce management platforms is the ability to benchmark any metric and tailor those benchmarks across different roles, so that your SDRs have different benchmarks, your AEs have different benchmarks and different metrics, and your sales engineers, your customer success, and so on are all being measured on the things that matter most to them, and they're seeing those metrics in real time and with amazing context. And one thing that Ambition kind of pioneered was scoring your overall performance. So if you look at towards the bottom, you'll see a score, and that is essentially looking at all your metrics, and they're all weighted differently based on what the manager thinks is appropriate, and give you an overall score for the day, for the week, for the month, wherever the manager decides, based on how you're meeting those various performance metrics. So it's a great way to give reps total clarity on how they're performing, what the expectations are, what their goals are, and how they're meeting them. And one thing we also did was segment activities from objectives, activities being phone calls, emails, sort of the daily grind metrics, and objectives being things like revenue. If you're an SDR, maybe it's meeting sets, stuff like that. And so that's proven to be a very core component of our platform. And then going up as a sort of probably the most powerful example of, at the manager level, the types of insights you can get is Ambition's productivity quadrant, which I attended OpsStars during Dreamforce earlier this month, and watched Chad Dyer, the sales productivity manager for Greenhouse, literally give a presentation explaining how Greenhouse built this exact matrix internally the exact same way, which is pretty amazing to see and shows just how valuable this sort of stuff is. But what the productivity quadrant is for managers is the ability to look at their entire sales team charted on the same axis based on how they're doing it in two ways. One, how they're doing on their activity metrics, the x-axis, essentially how hard they're working, and two, how they're doing on the y-axis, how well they're hitting their performance objectives, their big goals, revenue, quota, that sort of thing. And so they can see from there who's hustling but maybe needs coaching, who is killing it, who is maybe could actually work a little harder and make even more money, and who is really just following the process to a T, doing it very well. And a sort of secondary cool thing they can see is also how well their benchmarks are working, how well their process is working. Is the x-axis aligned with the y-axis? in terms of where their team is charting. And if not, why not, and how can they fix that? So pretty amazing stuff that's brand new. We were the first ones to create this kind of quadrant, and it just came out roughly a year ago. So a lot of people still don't know about this sort of stuff, and this is exactly why sales performance management is such an important thing to be discussing these days. And so going back down, TV leaderboard, and what that is on Ambition at least is a ultra dynamic way to essentially operate CNN for your sales organization. Everyone has Office CVs these days, but instead of showing a generic, leaderboard or a announcement, Ambition lets you create a series of slides that automatically update, that run on their own, that are simple to set up and manage. Everything with Ambition's point and click, from the data input to this sort of stuff, and show your reps how they're doing, broadcasted across their entire organization if you want to. And so the TV function is really important because it creates recognition opportunities, it adds motivation, and it creates transparency for marketing who might be in a different part of the office or a different office entirely to see how who's killing it in sales, and for sales to do likewise. And you can set up any metric, you can set up any sort of update. You can actually set up YouTube videos if you want to motivate people throughout the day. And a quick, cool aspect of this that goes towards recognition is millennials. Obviously, we're very digital natives. We're very media consumers, if you will. So a really cool aspect of Ambition is that we let you set triggers to play user-selected YouTube clips that your reps will select. Maybe it's a favorite song, maybe it's a favorite movie clip, by copy-pasting a YouTube clip into Ambition. And when they hit a certain benchmark, maybe it's 100 calls for the day, maybe it's a revenue goal, that YouTube clip will automatically start playing on the office TV so everyone knows they just hit their goal. And that's just one example of the functionality that's emerging with this sort of technology, but it's very powerful, and it's very, very millennial-oriented and tailored to this young 22 to 35-year-old workforce that's really taking over our space. So going back up is our insights graph. Every sales performance management platform has this essentially, and it's inevitably a much easier on the eyes version of a Salesforce report or something of that nature, or which are never fun to look at. No one wants to look at another spreadsheet, right? So this is a much more clear, compelling, and simpler visual for managers to quickly see how their team is doing. Alongside that, you see triggers. Those are things that managers can use to set up email notifications or TV notifications when someone hits a benchmark, or at the end of the day to see who did the best, and give them very easy automatic access to insights that can help them coach better, that can help them recognize performance very timely, in a very timely fashion, and all that sort of stuff that is being demanded of them by their reps these days. And bottom right, you kind of see our highlight feed and of leaderboards and competitions, which are sort of the core of sales performance management. They were the embryonic state, if you will. Sales performance management really rose out of gamification and that initial desire to create digital recognition opportunities. And as you can see from all this, it's come a long way in a few short years. And that functionality is still a core aspect of sales performance management, but it frankly is one of the least essential. You can run sales leaderboards with Ambition. You can run team contests. You can do that with our competitors as well. And it's a great way to intermittently spruce up the office culture and add energy. But the coolest thing about this sort of software is that it's meant to be perpetual. It's meant to be sustainable so that your reps don't get sick or don't get tired of looking at, did I hit my Ambition goal for the day? We're adding new features constantly too, by the way. Ambition just added a goal management feature that lets reps track holistic metrics, which could be things like connect with 25 C-level people on LinkedIn this month, could be at the office every day by 7 a.m., that sort of stuff to help them keep themselves accountable. And managers can set those up for reps too if they want. And those goals can be tracked automatically via data import, or they can be tracked just manually. But a key aspect of all this, as you can see, is everything is about data, and all this is fluidly flowing to these platforms in real time, from Salesforce, from a phone system, from PeopleSoft, from what have you. We can take multiple data sources and get them all updating on Ambition in real time. It's amazing, and it is a great way for you to really empower your sales team and yourself as their leaders. So overarching view of the market real quick. The top three that I mentioned earlier, Ambition, Hoopla, and Level 11, really are the most prevalent in this space. The other ones on this matrix maybe aren't so much fully built out sales performance management platforms. They just have some aspects of the functionality. But a key thing here, this is the G2 crowd grid. So this is the what users are saying in terms of satisfaction and in terms of market penetration about these platforms. So you can go to G2 Crowd, you can review Ambition reviews, you can review Hoopla reviews, you can review Level 11 reviews, watch videos, all that sort of stuff. And I think that sort of thing is the best way to really get a sense of what these tools offer, because you can separate the hype from what was actually being delivered in these sales organizations. So last slide, or second to last slide, final really kind of pivotal point here is all these data sources work really well with your existing technology. So Ambition, for example, and Outreach are very close partners, Outreach being a very prominent sales automation tool. And the cool thing about if you have a tool like Outreach or Yesware or ToutApp or SalesLoft or what have you, that's automatically updating your CRM, is that now not only are your reps freed from having to do data entry into your CRM, you as their manager are freed from having to deliver the insights on that data to them. Ambition is now doing that for you. And it really is a great way to empower operations and to empower you and make the data much more meaningful to your reps that's coming out of Outreach and going into the CRM. So this is my final slide. I'm kind of ending with a final point here that actually came from Outreach VP of Sales, Mark Cosaglow. The modern sales stack, you can break down any tool in it into one of three categories: data creators, data stores, and data consumers. As I alluded to earlier, data creators and data stores are what comprise 95 to 99% of the tools out there. They're your sales intelligence tools that are, updating prospect data. They're your sales automation tools that are updating rep activity and success. And the data stores are, of course, things like Salesforce, Pipedrive. InsideSales.com is one of the hybrid examples there too. And the consumers are the newest part of this stack. InsideSales.com, they have a gamification platform. They're probably one of the only ones out there that are all three. But it's pretty neat to see tools like Ambition, tools like Level 11, Hoopla, sales performance management space, and similar tools like Insight Squared with sales analytics, really specializing in delivering insights in very powerful, meaningful ways by consuming your data automatically and pushing it back out to you in ways that are very customizable and very compelling to your organization. So think about that as you build out your sales stack. I think it's going to be very important and increasingly important going forward to have all three of these sets of tools very well structured in your sales process and your sales toolkit. So look what's out there. And to learn more about Ambition, ambition.com. And to email me with any questions, jeremy.boudinet@ambition.com. Thanks so much for taking part in this, guys. And regardless of whether you're interested in Ambition or interested in this type of technology right now, feel free to ask me anything with regard to it. I've been in the space for 2.5 years. I'm the chapter president for AISP Tennessee, and I really do love what's happening right now with a very sorely needed part of the sales technology stack finally coming of age and helping sales leaders better manage their millennials. So if you guys need anything, hit me up, and thank you for taking part in this. Thank you, InsideSales.com, for hosting it. Everybody, good luck, and finish Q4 strong.